Raghu. Okay, so people are saying hi and everything in the band. And hello everyone, this is the first race by ISRT. Okay, Mike is fine to there. All the best to everyone in this inaugural event. Look out for the YouTube live stream later. Hello everyone, this is the first race by ISRT. All the best to everyone. Hello, thank you, Venkat. Nice to be here.
Thanks, Venkat. Welcome to ever TGIF. Hey guys, welcome to the first ever event organized by ISRT, also known as Tandoori Spice. We're here live with Ron George, uh, who's a community manager and a performance director at ISRT. Speaking about the route today, we have it's a 24-kilometer loop with 3 timed sprint segments. We have a climb after 12 kilometers. It's going to be a fast one. Also, yeah, we are in France. The RGV loop.
Yeah, Nikhil, I think it's called Route Grande Vitesse. Isn't that right?
Grande Vitesse, yeah.
Yeah.
RGV. It's a fitting name, I must say.
Yeah. Something that translates to the fast or a high-speed road. I think that's what it translates to in French. But yeah, I mean, this event was actually an idea that's been long been under the works here at ISRT. We were putting up events quite often, group rides and things like that. And then once the lockdown started, we started noticing crits being put up by TMC, Bangalore. And we thought, hey, why not, because of our size and how fast we're going, maybe we need to have an event on Zwift and get on the Zwift map. And so literally just 2 weeks back, Rajendra, who is one of the co-founders, he got us all into a meeting and talked about, this idea first. I also raised the idea initially. I thought we needed to have our own event. And that's how it started. And yeah, a lot of interesting names for the event came up initially. Someone suggested ISRT beer and barbecue race. And then something stuck with spice, and everyone was brainstorming spice, and eventually it became the Tandoori Spice Race. Of course, Tandoori being one of the best famous exports of India, I think it kind of struck a chord with everyone. So that's how the race name came about. If you see the poster of the event, we have the wonderful ISRT Sarsi team, which is a women's team, exclusive women's team of ISRT, right on the poster. And the idea with that was we wanted to promote women's racing and women's events on this virtual platform. And so we thought, why not have them featured on our race poster?
Yeah, More like encouraging them to participate and yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, we must say that we got a full women's team in the C pen today
Mm-hmm.
from ISRT Sarsi, as well as several females from around the world, Indians as well as other nationalities.
Mm-hmm.
So the event really kicked off well in social media, and people spread news of
Yeah.
this happening. And I think right now, what are we looking at, Nikhil? 140, 150 people registered for the race.
140 entrants. Yeah. Yeah. That's
That's
a good. That's a good entry for our first event.
Yes, indeed. And I think we should talk about the
It's a
distribution of
spot.
the riders in each of the pens.
Mm-hmm.
There are about 30, I think about 33 people in the B pen, and 64 in the C pen. So that's the biggest field today. And
Mm-hmm.
there's 37 in the D pen. And when you talk about the highest category, there's nine races. I mean, that's not surprising because of it's an exclusive club. If you want to be an A rider in Zwift, it's not easy to make it up there. Hence, we don't have too many. So we hope to see good action among the A's as well
Mm-hmm.
today.
Yeah. Have we started racing yet? Oh, we have. Thank you. Are we? No.
Okay, we are. The C pen is off the start line, and I think the A's and B's would have gone by now already.
Yeah, they have.
Well, well, well. Good stuff. Okay, we got in the C. Among the C's, we got Akash Dingre from ISRT leading the charge. He's already at 5.1 watt per kg, just trying to probably start a break or something.
Yeah.
Not really a wise move. You got 25 kilometers of this left.
Speaking of Akash, he's a motorcycle racer. He was a motorcycle racer, and he kind of knows his moves.
Right. In fact, I've done some TTTs with Akash. He's a very capable sea rider,
Yeah.
shall we say, and
Mm.
probably very close to upgrading to a B. So,
Yeah.
um, okay, who else is in this field? We got Manigandan, who is very
I
popular
was just about
in
to talk about him.
in
He's a
Bangalore.
good
He's
rider. Yeah. I've raced with him.
he's a low weight light climber, so he'll be putting up some big power to watt ratios. But for someone like him, he'll want to stay in the blob, in the draft of these riders who are putting up the big power numbers and try and save some energy.
Yeah. The fact that Manigantan cannot hear or speak, and yet he's racing, is really beyond words. Amazing.
Oh yes,
Yeah, I've raced with him. He's a crazy guy.
Indeed, Manigandan. I knew that about him when he actually told me, and then I checked out his Instagram profile,
Yeah.
and he puts up some good content with sign language.
Yes.
So good stuff. So, Nikhil, not sure if you're able to see the bees, but there's a lot of action in the bees here.
Yeah.
Now,
I
the
just switched
bees,
to.
I just want to mention that a lot of our ISRT boys who went for
Mhm.
the Zwift TRL season
Yeah.
number 3, who
See
just
that.
finished that, they most of them are in this field here today,
Yeah. Yeah.
and whether some of them will be fatigued from the effort on Wednesday, I'm not sure,
Mhm.
but that might play into today's race.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Sanjeev. Good to see you racing. Where'd you go? Oh, I see an Indian in having a stars and stripes flag next to his name. Is that you, Apurv? Oh, yeah, it is.
2.9K we under the belt. So I'm looking at Akash. He's sitting in the group. I think he's realized that he shouldn't be putting too much efforts out in the front by himself. That's good.
Oh, that's a fast-looking bunch there.
Let's follow the women's racing. Also in the C field,
Yeah, on to
we
the
got
women. Yeah,
Grinshina, who calls herself Grinny. She goes by
green.
Grinny. Grinny.
Mhm.
We got Neeta. I think Neeta is here. A lot of the women are here. They're all holding their own. Jasleen Sani, who was the great captain of the Sasi team, she's also holding her own just behind Mr. Bhatnagar from India. So that's interesting that she has found herself into the men's. She's sitting in among a bunch of guys. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Hitisha is riding well too, going up the leaderboard.
Oh yes, Hitisha is a very special rider in the women's. She is really the
Mhm.
powerhouse of the team, and
Yeah.
they usually use her for sweeping duties to get stranded riders back into the TTT because she's such a talented rider. In fact, we do coaching sessions, coached rides at ISRT. We do coached weekly rides. For example, we do hill repeats and stuff. And I've seen her; she's a very capable rider on the
Mhm.
hills as well.
We're watching Shirin Kekre now, another talented rider.
Hmm. Okay, Shirin is the person behind the ISRT logo. For those of you who don't know, we launched the logo
Yeah.
just a week back,
Mhm.
and she's the brains behind it. And she's done some very wonderful work. It's a very elegant logo, not overwhelming, and it
Mhm.
really strikes a chord with a lot of people.
Yeah. So if you see the ISRT logo, the R is transformed to look like a rider. and the S is this big starting of the letter S is slanted, just to show that the rider is facing a laptop. So that was
Mhm.
the idea behind the logo,
Very,
as
very
explained in
cool.
the
It's
picture.
a very cool logo. Very cool logo and very unique. Uh, Very unique take on the whole e-racing scene.
Yeah.
You are in literally hunched over a bike looking at a laptop.
Job
So
well done.
let's have a
The
look at the business end of the C field. We got
Mhm.
Japanese rider uh, Hokutono and Cash, because some capable Japanese riders doing about 3.5 to 3.7 watt per kg, pulling this group along, and they are comfortably churning in the front there. So there is a break of sorts in the C field, and they're all over the countryside. Maybe I think the lead group is probably about 15 riders in there right now, and needs to be said that Akash is comfortable in this group,
Yeah,
staying in that lead group and comfortably shielded.
I'm looking forward for some good results for Akash. He's been consistently putting in the miles at home.
Indeed, just in the next group behind them is a group of maybe also probably about 15 to 20 riders, and we got names like Karthik. I think Karthik is in the group. He's one of the famous V Everesters, very known for putting some massive miles and mountain climbing in RGT and Zwift.
Mhm.
Um, we're not sure if a 25-kilometer fast race really suits him, but we'll see. But
We'll
way to
see.
go, Karthik. He also, just to mention, he also raced this morning, so he's got some
Fatigue.
fatigue in the legs. Yes.
5.5 kilometers into the race, 8 minutes, and comfortably cruising at 36 kph.
Indeed. So let's go over to the D field now. We're looking at the live results coming in, and it's looking good for the Indians. We got British rider Dave Sullivan, but Raghu
Mhm.
from ISRT is right behind, and then
Yeah.
Dilip Verma, Hitisha, Kunal, Rishi Kumar, Shishir Jain, Raghavendra Sinha, and Srivatsan Sridhar. Interesting. These are all new riders. Just to
Riders from
emphasize
Chennai.
that this is
Yeah.
not just for uh, people who have a lot of experience in Zwift. It's also for beginners, and there
Mhm.
seems to be uh, a good field of beginners here. At least 20 riders. At least 20
Mhm.
riders in this group.
Yeah. Oh, Shreyas is going up the ranks. Shreyas Sridhar.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is one for the sprinters. There's not a lot of climbing. I mean, if you look at the course, you've got Aqueduct KOM right in the
Mhm.
middle, which is a very short 5% average gradient, but it's only like 400 meters,
400
and
meters. Yeah.
they could just hammer through that. But if you don't focus, you could also have gaps there, and that often happens with the
Mhm.
inexperienced riders who, unlike real world riding. So in virtual world, you can't take your foot off the pedals. You know what I mean? Like if you do, you're going to open up a gap, and it's very hard to close up gaps when you have to catch up with a group. So there, you might see a break there, and we'll know who is the what's the selection of riders that will make it to the end. And towards the end, then you got the dreaded S's. It's in the shape of S's, and you've got a gradient of between 3 and 4%. So that's a section where you got to concentrate as well. Riders who make it through that point will be the ones who will make it to a sprint finish, and it remains to be seen who that group is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct. And really, I mean, if you want to pace this course, you would really go hard on that climb rather than making it slow. But yes, we'll be looking to see who can make that climb comfortably and get on the other side of the downhill without too many problems. But there's a ways to go now. At least in the D field, we're at 8.1. Let's just go over to the C field and see where they're at. Yeah, so the Bs are probably nearing that point. The Bs are very close to the aqueduct. And I think the A's, if you look at the A's, wow, we got some talented riders here. By the way, guys, make a mention for Rajendra Bhaskar, who is the one of the top 3 Zwifters of India on Zwift Power by ranking. Him and Mayank Tripathi, both are co-founders of ISRT, sitting comfortably in the front bunch of the A field. And these guys will be approaching that aqueduct point very soon. So we'll have to keep our eyes focused on this group and see who makes a move. Right at the business end of the A, you have A Medina from VCRT. I think that's the same team that Mayak is from, his parent team, before he moved to ISRT. Medina is a Spanish rider. These Spaniards are really fierce cyclists, both on in the virtual world and off. And so they'll be giving good competition for us. We also have Miata. I think that name I've seen before in races. These guys are putting out 4.5 to 5 watt per kilo, just to give you an idea. Mr. Miata is doing about 370, 380 watts. So as they approach this aqueduct, which they're just doing now, we're looking at numbers like 308, 310 watts from Miata.
Those are some quite good numbers.
Mayank is, very good. He's in a very good position in the front, putting out 4.5 watt per kilo, just a little shy of 350 watts. So I think that's good news for Mayank, who's made it in the lead group among the A's.
Into the viaduct now. Aqueduct, sorry.
Now we have the fierce downhill on the other side of this aqueduct. So now riders will be moving at close to easily around 55 to 60 kph, and there might be an opportunity to super tuck because these A riders go down so fast. People will be looking to get up to that super tuck speed, which by the way is around 56 to 58 kph. And once you get up to that speed, you can just take your foot off the pedal and just coast, and the avatar would allow you to, it'll go into super tuck and just hold that speed for you.
Right.
Well, it's a nervous bunch. I don't see many doing the super tuck. Interesting. So I think there's a bit of a nerves playing out here. People are just eyeing each other and getting ready for a move. So not ready. No one's ready to go into a super tuck yet.
Yeah.
And now the speeds decrease. Now it's leveled off. Go ahead, Venkat. Indeed, the bees are hammering on. Indeed, that's a very small gap between the end of the A's and the beginning of the B's. Well, I don't really recognize any of these foreign riders here. They've got 2 Japanese and a couple of British riders. But from ISRT, we got Vikas Namdeo, very, very powerful rider. He's actually a C category rider, but because of his power numbers, he often B's are really his cup of tea. Unfortunately, with the play of numbers on Zwift, he doesn't really get to upgrade. I think that's probably because of his weight. But there is no doubt that he is a very capable rider, and right now he's in the business end of that B field, along with names like, let's see, we got Ajkandi Tri Racing. I'm not sure which part of India he's from, but we got Aaron Kane as well. Another one of the ISRT B boys who he was the captain of the B team for the ZRL race, and I think he's done a splendid job over the past 2-3 months for the ZRL campaign. So he's also probably feeling it a little bit in his legs from the Wednesday effort, but he seems to be comfortable here.
Completely agree with you, Ron. Also, did I mention that we don't have any power-ups in this race? I feel it's a good way to gauge a rider's fitness.
Yeah, indeed. We debated that in the beginning when we were forming this event, and I think we agreed that maybe to attract a wider field and also to make it suitable for purist cyclists, maybe we had to turn the power-ups off or disable it rather.
Yeah.
This is somewhat of a point in contention. Some people like it. Some people enjoy the gamification aspect. And so this is something we'll be looking at. I think in future events we can consider turning that, which can completely change the dynamics, especially when it comes to a sprint finish or maybe even a long mountain climb or a hill climb.
Fact. All legs, no boost.
Well, to get the boost, you need the legs. So, for example, I mean, if you activated the draft, the truck power up, I mean, you still have to use it, and you got maybe 15 seconds of time for some of these power ups to really make your move. And so, if it's a use it or lose it proposition. If you don't use it, it's gone.
Yeah.
Just turning over to the B field, this is a very promising ride from Hitisha, who is about six from the top. She's she's doing quite well. And the D field has just gone through the 12.9K mark, so they too would be just approaching the aqueduct, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
Probably just meters away from the aqueduct. So we'll have to see who makes that selection going up this hill.
Mm-hmm. Our lantern rouge for this race is G10, who is who's also a part of ISRT in the D category.
Well, I'm not sure if he's the Lantern Rouge. We got a few riders behind him, but I don't know. It could be the way the Zwift live thing works.
Yeah.
Let's remind our viewers that it updates every 1 minute, so we could have
Yes.
some information now, but things may have already changed on the screen. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. We got Hitisha leading this charge up the climb. Great ride, putting out about 3.5 watt per kilo, really putting this pressure on the group. Um, she's trying to make that break up to G Santoro from Italy and A Stiller, who is from the Dirt team, rider. But Hitish in a very good position. Yes, she's managed to close that gap, and that's a very good position. You don't want to be left alone before the downhill.
Mm-hmm.
This D group is splitting. You can see that on the screen.
Yeah, it
Good
definitely
ride.
is. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, indeed, and I think the the number of riders in the sea which we're seeing right now is just telling us that there's a lot of riders, new riders who are coming to Zwift, and a lot of them upgrade very quickly from D and move to C. But during
Yeah.
your lifetime as a Zwift racer, you do spend quite a bit of time in the C, unless you're really talented. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the mid-power athletes spend a lot of time on the Z in the C group. For example, like me, I spent a lifetime in C. I probably upgraded once to a B, and then I left Zwift for 2 months, and they demoted me back to a C again. But I really enjoy being in the C's because it's a friendly bunch, and you don't you just don't feel overpowered, especially if
Yeah.
you're like somewhere between 2.5 to 3.2, you're comfortable in a C.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the moment you make that break to a B, you're then you're down in the bottom bucket of the Bs, and it's a hard life as a B rider to make to climb the ranks there. So
Yeah. Also, we've just crossed the 20-kilometer mark. 4 kilometers left for the A category to finish the race.
now viewers have to excuse me. I thought that Aaron Kane, one of our ASRT riders, he was leading the B bunch, but actually
Two.
um, that was Akash, I believe, or sorry, that was Avneet Singh. Just just a little mistake. It was Avneet Singh sitting near the top end of the Bs. Him and Vikas doing quite well for themselves. But we have another rider by the name of Sahil Deshpande, who is now around sitting in sixth position in the B field.
Ah, you're right. You're right. Akash is climbing up the ranks. He's getting into the B group now.
So let's turn our attention to the A's because they are literally on the S's. We talked about this section. It's quite
Mm-hmm.
technical. If you lose your
Yeah.
focus and lose the bunch, this is where your race could end.
And
So this is probably the selection. We have maybe about maybe about 10 riders, maybe about 10 riders here in this group, and this is probably going to be the bunch that makes it to the finish line for the sprint finish. Comfortable in this group, Rajendra and Mayank, both of them undeterred. We have Samrat, another A rider,
mm-hmm.
um, and then from ATP Oxygen team, Chris, he's leading the charge here, but he's really an A plus rider. So it remains to be
Yeah.
seen what kind of a move he's gonna make. Just a wee little note about Mayank and Raj. Both of them have a lot of racing history, and they would
True.
know this course by like the back of their hand. So
Yeah.
none of this happening right now would be a surprise to them, really. But so is anyone in the A field. So that's what makes the A racing so interesting. You will have to, because the riders are most likely so evenly matched, someone will have to make a move if they want to win on the day.
Oh, there's a major shake-up in the leaderboard.
So almost approaching the finish here, back into town, and this is going to be interesting. Mayank and Raj quite comfortable sitting in that group. We're not seeing anyone make a move. So again, I have a feeling this is going to be a sprint finish.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we talk about Zwift sprints, um, it's all about watt per kilo and pure watts, both. If you're lightweight, you accelerate really quickly. Um, and if
True.
you're somewhat of a heavy rider, you probably need to be looking somewhere north of 900 watts to be winning in a field of this capability here. So the sprints have opened up. Everyone's going full gas.
Yeah.
Mayank at 11.2. Look at these numbers here: 13.5, 14.6. Raj at 12.0, and I think Chris has taken it on the day. Chris from ATP Oxygen.
ATP
Mayank
oxygen.
coming in. Mayank and Raj, but excuse me, these results are a little out of date already because of how fast that played out. But we will be. Yes, so these are the results. We got Marshall Green, first place, Chris, ATP Oxygen in second, and Nicholas Kuzas in third. Uh, the ISRT team didn't do that bad. We got two top 10 positions, Mayank and Raj in 6 and
General.
number 9. So excellent ride from those two in this inaugural event.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go back to
The B category.
the B field. Yes, we got Apurv leading the charge,
Mm-hmm.
and Vikas is still comfortable in that group. Venkat, what are you seeing in the B field? Because I think Zwift just gave up on fan follow for me. Yeah. So we want to focus on Apur. Apur is our ISRT rider from the States, and Avneet Singh looking very good, very strong in the bunch. Vikas as well. Vikas Namde also doing well for himself. Now they've got maybe a little more than 1.2k to go, so this race is going to end up very quickly.
Yeah.
Probably another bunch sprint. Now talking about Avneet, just very recently he's actually Avneet is a coached rider of ISRT, coached by the very able Giant Muko from one of our riders from Stanford and one of the top Indian e-riders right now, Zwifters. Avneet's got a pretty wicked sprint, and he can easily put out 800, 900 watts if he really pushes himself. So this is also going to be interesting how it plays out.
And Apurv is putting up some crazy watts. Going up the fast 50s right now.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh.
So we actually have some results that are final on Zwift Power from the A field, and what we saw before was a live results which got filtered, and it looks like among the filtered results, Raj Bhaskar from ISRT has made it to the podium. Third spot, yes, in that sprint.
Mayank is fifth.
Congratulations to him. Mayank is fifth.
Not bad for an inaugural race.
In the B field, we have Sahil Deshpande. I talked about him before. Bit of an unknown rider, really, but he just pipped Daniel Bjorkman at the line, looks like. We'll have to see the official results, the filtered results, to see who got filtered out. Because keep in mind, sometimes riders probably didn't think about where they're signing up. They probably signed up to the wrong pen. Some of them might be racing with funky equipment. So Zwift does a good job of filtering out the results so that only legit racers who belong in the pen are put in the final results here. So, okay, we got some filtered results coming in. So it looks like Daniel Yorkman, Ronnie Hotdog, and Henry Pitty are first, second, and third in the B field. Just getting inside top 10 is Vikas Namdeo. An average of 3.3 watt per kg and 262 watts. So congratulations to him. Avneet not doing bad for himself, coming in at 11. So that was a field of 15 in the filtered results, really. So this is nice. We got the C field again, just about to finish. We see Akash Stingray right at the business end with Japanese riders Rio and Shiori fighting for that sprint finish.
Oh, his heart rate is over the roof.
202. Yes, I know Akash. He is someone with a high heart rate, but I mean everyone. It's kind of like height or weight. Everyone has their own unique values, and Yeah,
True.
probably a bit genetic as well, but the race must almost be over here for the C field. Yes, indeed. It looks like the C's are done, and oh, Akash just pipped to the line. Actually, that was a
Mm,
very close sprint.
yeah.
And looks like Pietro Caroli from Italy, Adrian Shokes, and David
Di-
Lack are 1, 2, and 3 in
mm,
that C field. Akash in fifth, but again, not by much. I mean, this came down to fraction of a second.
yeah.
Came down to the wire at the line. Um, so not a bad finish from Akash at all. We
Hmm.
got Kishan Go, the next ISRT rider who finished around, I think he's about top 15. So not a bad result. Lots of Indian riders in the C field. Congrats to everyone who finished. Riders now will be looking to cool down and get rid of that lactic acid or whatever you want to call it. I mean, a race like this is intense. Your heart
Yeah,
rates go up,
for real.
you sweat on the floor, but
Yeah.
it's also a good motivation to race in a sharp, fast bunch
Hmm.
because it really helps with your rider stats and helps people move up in the stats.
Yeah.
The more you race, the more experience you get. Plus, it helps you upgrade more
Hmm.
points, more.
We can see that in Akash's results this weekend.
Okay, now we got maybe 1.5K for the D field. Hitisha very comfortable sitting in third on the Zwift Power Live results. Very likely she is going to be the first among the ladies. We got to wait and see who else might be there to contend the ladies' position podium against her. Among the other riders, we have Shreya Sridhar, PM Vivek, Shishir Jain, Kunal Julka, um, Rishi Kumar, Dilip Verma, M. Raghu. M. Raghu is another one of core team members in ISRT.
Hmm.
Very enthusiastic about all the activities at ISRT and community building. And yes, kudos to him for making it to the race and actually racing today. I mean, this is the thing about Swift. I like it's so much positive energy all around,
Hmm.
and especially in a difficult time like this, where we have lockdown in India, just helps people stay fit and as well as socialize. Because let's
Yeah. The thing about Zwift,
I mean,
it's social.
yes, and yeah, the social aspect is what attracts me to Zwift. I mean, it's easy to be locked away during this time and not be able to find people of the same with the same tastes as you in sport. And I think Zwift has
Yeah.
given an avenue for that, and that's why people enjoy it and love it. Especially with the whole Zwift racing and Discord and everything,
Mm.
it just puts a whole different flavor on all the possibilities in virtual racing.
Yeah. I concur, Ron.
Okay, the sprint would have started, guys. I think we have maybe a little over 300 meters left in the D
Mm.
field. So Dave Sullivan and PM Vivek and David Axon right in the front. Um, it looks like PM Vivek may have taken that, but we'll have to check our live results here. Um, Hitisha, not bad, just a fraction of a second, maybe a few bike lengths away. Um, so the sprint would be over right now for the D group. Excellent results. We're just waiting for our system to update here. Interesting. So yeah, so the D results are still being cleaned, I guess. Now that's a field where many people have equipment that probably should not be used, or maybe they don't have a heart rate monitor. These are new
Hmm.
beginner riders, so it takes probably a little bit more time to filter through those results. But in the live results, we are seeing PM Vivek, Kunal Julka, and Rob Edwards, one, two, three in
Hmm.
that sprint. Um,
Yeah.
we got a bunch of Indians actually. Just following that is Raghavendra Singh and Rishi Kumar, who are 4 and 5 in the sprint. But again, we need to see the final results among the Ds. But yeah, good day for a race. Good turnout. What do you
Hmm.
think, Venkat?
Yeah, pretty good for the first time. Hmm. Hmm. And the RGV never fails
Oh
to
yes, oh
impress.
yes. So this is going to be a staple on the Zwift racing calendar. Every Friday, so 6 p.m. Indian Standard Time, um, and probably I think just around 8 a.m., 7 a.m. in the states. So
Hmm.
it's not a bad timing for the world as a whole. So this will probably attract just more riders in the future and future events. But yes, congrats to.
All the winners.
Oh yeah, I mean it's almost like the Tour de France, right? You need a real flat, fast stage to open the series, and RGV, like I said, doesn't fail to impress. You
Yeah.
kind of know who's in shape, who has a mix of abilities. So you saw there that people had to make that climb in the middle and make sure they were sitting in the right spots,
Yeah.
um, to not be left out on the downhill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rajendra, if I'm not wrong, he was struck with COVID maybe a couple of months back, so he was
Mhm.
recovering from that illness.
Yeah.
Uh, and yes, like you said, he took a break, but you can see some of these races really. I mean, in the A field, you have very good muscle memory. Like I said, the races
Mhm.
they will be very quick to get that muscle memory, tap into that muscle memory, and they'll just go back to all the races they've done on RGV in the past, and it's going to be textbook tactics playing out on a course like this. There's not a lot of things you can do different here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. We should do this sometime soon. And I think, what are we going to do with the results? Are we going to publish some of the filtered results on Instagram? Excellent. And this, yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe hopefully someone else does the commentary next time so I can race. Yeah,
Okay.
indeed. If the
Yeah.
fitness is not there right now, but we'll see.
Yeah. Get roasted. Mhm. Mhm. All right. Thanks, guys.